as to, the nature of the protest, what happens next after the president broadcasts, if he addresses it. As of today, following the meeting the president had with the security chief and the press briefing they had today, we can hear the military talking tough. And they're already implying that the protest has taken a new dimension. It is not about end bad governance or end hunger. It's about an attempt to undemocratically change government. So that's what they're saying. And they're saying that the flag which we were debating yesterday, is it a Russian flag or is it the flag of the commander-in-chief of the Order of the Niger flag, the Armed Forces flag? But we know that the Armed Forces has that blue, in which the ones that were waving in Kaduna, Katsina, Kano, apparently do not have that one. So the military is saying you're waving a flag of other countries. You're sending a message surreptitiously to saying military takeover or this country coming at this point in time. Now, is it, sometimes you want to look at some of these things and you really wonder, is this some school of thought? I've heard some school of thought say this is just a ploy to distract from the core of the protest by bringing this dimension in and weaken the strength of the protest, while others fear that there actually might be that nefarious agenda to usurp the government. I know it's a trick one. You don't have all the answers, but let us understand what you...
Yes, thank you for this opportunity, being with you today. And I wish to state something here quickly. Honestly, since the protest started on August 4th, now before the protests, I appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that it never happen. Because we only know when a strike, when such thing happens, you don't know how it ends. So it was very, very instructive that I call on him, please let this thing stop. But somehow, the problem is not with Tinubu, but with those in the corridors of power. When President Tinubu told the traditional rulers who came to him and said he doesn't have a cabal, I said, wow, I think he's missing it. In every administration, you must have a cabal.
A cabal in what sense?
A cabal membership. There must be a cabal.
In a caucus of people who
a cabal, of course. Those group of people that influence things around the presidency. Okay. If you read the book, How Washington Works, it tells you there are some aides that are across to the president. Once they give out their word, the president simply approves and signs it.
Perhaps because of the controversial nature of the word cabal in Nigeria, he doesn't want to use that.
I think we try to bring a connotative input to it. I'm not looking at it as the connotation, because the cabal that we've been having, they are not for the people. They are for themselves. Even the time of Jesus Christ, there was a cabal. And I'll tell you those that are members. John, James, and Peter. When Jesus Christ wanted to have a discussion that is very close to his heart, he called those three. And at a certain time, he left those two, John and James, and called Peter. To cabal. See, you don't look at the negative connotation of words. So I think I will call on President Tinubu to change those that are close to him. They are not telling him the truth. Of course, you will expect that when this strike, when they commence this strike, many things will be in. It's not in doubt that Nigerians are hungry. Over nearly 64 years after independence, we've never had it so bad. Because when you see a 60-year-old man go into a place and loot rice and put on his head and start to run, does it not frighten you? It tells you that we are at the tipping precipice. But again, let's look at the whole scenario surrounding the protest itself. Now, there was hunger, and people felt that, no, the economic hardship cannot be borne further. They needed to also vent out their frustration. Under a democracy, the people have a right to protest. But we know in the Nigerian situation, we have people that are out there taking advantage of something that is good and turn it into evil. In Abuja, when it started, those young men strolled, the AIT people, other television houses we are following. We were monitoring. At the step, they said they should go to the stadium. They went there. They make their grievances known. Well, you may call them the Gen Z. Yes, they are Gen Z because there are certain things with the older generation. So as well, let's survive. But they said, no. taking into consideration what has happened in other countries of the world. Everybody, democracy is all the demand for rights. When a government is not afraid of the people, then you have a problem. Because it is the people that are masters. But in this country, when a small cabal take a hold of power and insist that certain things must be done according to them, then there's a problem. Yes, we have a situation where we see the presidency, even before the commencement of that strike. Yeah. They did so many things. They brought in Nelfon. They brought in, they met traditional rulers. They release some money for education. They did so many things. Within 4 to 5 or 6 or 7, so even before the commencement of the strike, the government knew that they've at least shifted ground. But the most important thing of all is restructuring this country. See, Kimberly, we may talk here from here till eternity. When your working document, which is the Constitution, is not right, you won't get it right. But when your Constitution is reviewed and it takes power from those who exercise it to the people who elect those in power, then things will work right. But we live in a dysfunctional society where there's hunger, there's poverty, they've deployed religion, they've deployed ethnicity, they've employed all sorts of issues to make sure that the citizenry is like, can I say, it's like tied, and there is nothing they can do. And in a democracy, you better create an enabling platform that citizens have a way they can say one or two things, they can demonstrate, because when something is making you angry, you need an opportunity to vent it out. Yeah. When you vent it out, say, at least, even if they don't, at least I have vented it out. So this idea of strike was a fundamental right of Nigerians. But again, I totally disagree with those rogue elements that have taken advantage of it, and they're unleashing violence and mayhem and looting.
Sadly, we've seen it across several states. We've seen it in Kano,
we've seen it in Kaduna, part of Zaria, we've seen it in some part of the state, in Gombe.
Katsina also.
So you now say, you don't correct evil by perpetuating another evil. No. The whole essence was that this is what we're looking for. But because we never had leadership that we campaign, because we were all thinking that we'll have okay, if this one is, if this one is done, we can call this man to take it to order. But let me tell you, I commend the leadership of the military and the police in some of the states on how they've handled it. But okay, 1 or 2 states, of course, where it was reported that live bullets were shot, no. It's a no for me.
I listened to the press conference, and the police, Inspector General of Police, Betokun, was saying that no live bullet was used by the police. And it's a little conflicting because people died. Well, they were shot by bullets.
Yes, if people died, then there must be something. There must be a reason. People cannot simply fall and die without anything being done.
Exactly.
Of course, I had an encounter on 21st, tear gas. As you're going through the airport road, the tear gas was almost everywhere. We could not access your home till around past 12 midnight. And when I drove, I saw this policeman just sitting by the barricade, sitting down past 12, and it was cold that day. And I said, see, I think we've not given some kind of an appreciation and some bit of commendation to the Nigerian police and to our security forces. They don't sleep because they want to keep us safe from hoodlums. Of course, when these things happen, because Nigeria is a place where there is hunger, urchins took advantage. Yeah. We also have access. I was forced apart with 1 or 2 small of my money. I had some courage to just pass. And then leaves were hacked and put on your car screen.
In solidarity,
In solidarity.
I mean, I saw the video in some of the states that you mentioned where you saw minors, like as young as 6 and 7, and you're thinking, what do they really know about this protest besides the fact of course?
When hunger is being unleashed on the people, this minor that you think they are minor, they know what is happening. Your family wakes up in the morning and say, Daddy, I want to take bread. You say, well, there's no money for bread. You say, why? Tinubu. Okay. So what are we going to do? He just has somebody, we are going to protest. This hunger is too much. They will follow. You see, the culprits in all of these things are the National Assembly, are the State Houses of Assembly. What are they doing? See, the North is seriously facing a new dimension of threat. And that is why I read today that the house of a lawmaker, I think in Jigawa or Yobe, was attacked and destroyed. The very day we have abandoned poor people completely to their fate, while we claim we are representing them in Abuja and in the state houses of assembly. What are you doing? Of course, there are so much billions of naira that were given to governors as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. What did they do with the money? No, what did they do? I asked this question. What are they doing with it? Abuja is not the point of just for you to converge. Yes, it's good because this is the federal capital city. It should be safe for people to vent out their anger. If you get to the National Assembly, there's a square there. There is supposed to be a place where everybody that is angry can get there and vent his anger. But they have these all cars that are parked there. You can't have access. If I want to go to the National Assembly, somebody will ask, who are you? Who do you want to see? And all that. We don't need it. See, this democracy is turning out to be dictatorial. And that is why these people say, hey, we need military. Military is not the solution. Military cannot be the solution to Nigerians' problem. What we need is for the citizen to arise and demand justice. We need to demand, when budgets are released, what do they do with the money? What do they do with that money? Nobody asked that question. Do you understand? When the National Assembly go for oversight function, what do they achieve? I can tell you for free that they go there to just make sure they get what they can get. And that is why the civil service that is in a bottomless pit of corruption is where the whole thing is swallowed up. Read the budget of 2023. You go to a particular ministry. They'll tell you we need 50 units of laptops, 50 units of desktop. 50. They only produce it just and then it's signed. Nothing is done, and we continue. It's more a recurring.
No, nothing done in the sense that it wasn't bought in the first instance, so it's reappearing again, or nobody intends to buy it in the first instance.
If you buy a desktop now, you need to also buy another one next year, a new one again. There is a construction company in this place where they will give you their cost of building. They will add all the vehicle, the new vehicle they want to do. They want to do this, they want to do that, and at the end of the day,
nothing. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be back with more.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Audio Jungle.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Roundtable, we're still looking at some of the big stories driving conversation in the country, and no bigger story than the protest and other issues arising from the protest. Also, the military had a press conference in which they implied, that's the fact, even categorically stating it, that the protest has been hijacked by some element, and it looks like they are calling for a military takeover. We're talking about that and other issues around this. Mr. Simon Reef is here with me as our guest analyst, helping us wade through some of those big stories. You can join the conversation on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja on Facebook, and YouTube also is at Nigeria Info Abuja. And there are quite a number of comments that have been shared with us on our Facebook page here. Clem says there's hunger in the land. We're not fighting it easy, or we're not finding it easy at all. The president should do the needful before it to be too late and regards to the guest. He's speaking and spoken very well. Ferdinand Ayakbo says, good afternoon to the Digital Oracle, Mr. Reef, our guest in the studio. Politicians are just amazingly annoying at this point. I keep asking myself, will they run their private businesses the way they run Nigeria? I'm watching from Galadima and Comrade Aliyu Musa Kazim says, nice job there. Willie Kyo says, you're saying the truth, sir. Keep speaking. Ajum says, thank you very much for hitting the nail on the head. A few of the comments that have coming, share your thoughts with us on our social media platform and WhatsApp also. Over to you, sir. So, yeah. I mean, you talk so much about what needs to be done, where we are at this point in time, and if some element are, trying to take advantage of what we had at this moment. One key area that's been demanded of by the protesters is remove fuel subsidy. And even though the president in his broadcast did not even go anywhere near there, it just feels like, it's too late in the day to call for any reversal. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is saying, well, fuel subsidy is there. We actually do pay. He says, it's there in some sense because the price has been stable for a bit, and he tells you something. I don't know at this point in time, is it really, really possible for the government to say, okay, we're going to take our petrol price to the old figure where it was before May 29 when he says subsidy is gone?
Well, I think I read a report in which the military said they've destroyed over 70 illegal refineries in the south, in the southern region. And I said, 70, that is much. About
illegal?
Illegal refineries, but they're into 30, 40, 50. So the question I said, if our normal refineries, if the refineries owned by NNPC is not working, well, they have thousands of workers that are being paid like kidnappers. They are paid like ransom. It's like ransom. They pay them very well. And they are not producing nothing. They are simply sitting down and they do nothing. And at the end of it, they give them so much money. And because of the injustice, because we have been very, very unjust to the southern region, the oil producing state, very, very unjust. You have no reason to subject them to water pollution, to all the environmental degradation that they have witnessed or they've experienced or that has been unleashed upon in the last years since oil exploration started. Because oil should not just only be a national asset. We have gold, we have uranium, we have everything. So why can't we make those to be national assets?
I mean, it's surprising that we're not actually making those national assets.
No, they are not national assets. Why? Because you need that. If you make it national asset, then you can organize it. Do you understand? You can organize it. And that is why I said, go back to the report of the 2014 Constitution. A report that President Jonathan Goodluck set up. It gives you a very graphic process through which you can look at this thing and try to implement it bit by bit. As long as state governors, as long as local government hold their hands and wait at every month to collect money from oil, this country will never be the same. When states are faced with the tax of generating money to run their affairs, no state will allow insecurity to fester in this, because once insecurity fester there, you have no money to run the whole thing. But of course, we are where we are because we are still running on a dead horse that will never take us anywhere. And that is why they say, what are the changes? Despite all the billions of naira given to state, well, some state governors are trying on their own, trying to make sure they kind of survive. But no, you should not rob Peter to pay Paul. If I must end something, I must show cause. I must work for it. And so when government is saying, you should work hard, we should tighten our belt. But some people don't tighten their belt, they're losing their belts. And they are collecting the whole money and swallowing it. They are building houses in their houses in Dubai, London, Canada. They don't want to stay in Nigeria. Nigeria has been turned into a farmhouse. Harvest it and run away. And that is the danger. We are not practicing a democracy. You and I know that. Let's say.
Well, I know we are practicing a democracy. It might not just be a perfect one.
I always say that the National Assembly is the bastion, is the guardian, is the custodian of democracy. That is where the people are represented. But can you ask yourself that this National Assembly has done what it ought to do? No. They are not only in bed with the executive. They are not only in bed with the executive, they are cohabiting. There's nothing there. So what I'm simply telling you is that when you look at what is happening in this country, it kills the spirit in you. Some of us say, we die here. We have no way to go. We want to live here. We want to live in Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria. I want to die a Nigerian. I want to live simple life, good life, but then those people...
at the end of the day, honest to God, that's what a lot of people want. Just live a simple life and can afford the basic things.
I remember what Chief MKO said. He said, I don't want to be known as the richest man in Africa or in the world. I just want to say I live a very peaceful life. I help people that I could help. And that is the end. And once you are gone, all the estate you have, you've defrauded people. Why our health system has almost totally collapsed is the money meant for the health system is diverted. But nobody wants to talk. And that's why you go to the civil service. Somebody on level 14 has taken all his family away abroad. With which money? No more than 200,000. If it's 200,000, some of us that are not there will have sent not only our own family, we will send others from other states. But that is not the issue. You see, Kimberly, the media must talk about corruption. We must talk about how we can save this country from total collapse. We are facing an imminent collapse, whether we like it or not.
Now, if you talk about it and you do not see the will, the political will to addressing it...
We continue to talk about it. It's just like a pastor that went to one church. He said, you must believe on Christ. He said it and did it for almost right. He said, okay, you don't have any message. He said, believe us. We must hop on it. And that is why the EFCC chairman, and I like him for his sincerity, he said he wonders how Nigeria has survived due to the quantum of corruption that has taken place. And it's taken place. Interpol, some 2 weeks ago, said, no, hundreds of thousands of dollars leave the country every hour. There's millions. So what are you talking? Because we don't have faith in this country. If leadership has faith in this country, see, it takes 6 months, it will turn Nigeria 360 degrees. And that is why all this call for military takeover, they are distractions. We don't want military people again. They should stay there and maintain law and order.
Let's take it up from here on this military, because it feels like we have this rinse and repeat mentality. We forget too soon. Nigeria has always found itself at a point where it feels like, oh, there's so much corruption, the economy is not as it should. Then somehow, the military come in. And then after a while, we get sick and tired of them, and you want a democratic rule, and then it's interrupted by the military. I mean, we had those checkered history in the 80s up until the 90s, until we got in 1990 stable democracy. And I'm surprised that anyone will be calling back for the military just because they say, oh, they built a few roads and all of that. Democracy, like you pointed out, if you get the people to rise and work and make it functional, something suited to us, perhaps they will get to appreciate it more. Maybe because the critical mass of the population do not truly see and appreciate the dividends of democracy itself. That's why this call is going
the truth of the matter is that Nigerians are used to, let's having quick fixes. Let's try to get this thing done, get this. It will never work. Today. I read a news report where they said former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has said that he's in support of military. I said, God, I know this man. He won't.
No, they've come out quickly to say no such thing was ever.
But I will say that Babangida will never support the return of the military. To me, he is more of a military Democrat. He loves democracy so much.
Babangida?
Yes. Forget about the dynamics of what happened on June 12. There's another issue altogether in it. But we will come to that. But what I'm telling you is that democracy, see, I want to let you know that if democracy ever come back to this country, I don't know what will happen.
Democracy or military?
I mean military. For military to come back in Nigeria, it will change a lot of things. And I don't know if we will survive the fallout of that. So what we should always do is to insist. Let people come out and vent their anger. And let the present administration, headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, do something. He should do the needful. They said hunger is the mother of revolution. Yes, Nigeria have been pushed to the walls. The members of National Assembly, State House of Assembly that have constituted themselves as a financial drain pipes, it is now for them to say, oh no, let's save our people. That is the truth. Let's democratize the electoral process. Let's review it. Let the will of the people using religion, ethnicity. If you look at the whole strike or the whole thing is more directed, is more from the north than from the south. Why? Because the poverty level of the north is high. It's not easy for you to tell a hungry man.
But the poverty level has not been high just under Tinubu. The North has always recorded the highest chunk of poverty level from the jump.
Let me tell you, under Buhari, it was hunger. But under Tinubu, when a mudu of gari is now sold for 1.6, 1.7, no. It's true. Do you understand? He now floated the naira. There was devaluation, and there's no access for people to even have this money. Tinubu talk about cassava, yam, this and that. We are even
cassava bread was Jonathan.
Yeah, no, it's Tinubu that say bado, something like this. It has to do with all these things. But you see, people are really suffering under Tinubu. Some the minister will tell you, we all know that Nigerians are suffering, and it is not news. And this man has taken breakfast, lunch, and he drives car. It's not from his money. It's not from his money. It's government money. So what do you why do you think that you have the right to access government money and you are doing it, getting it free of charge, and you feel the ordinary Nigerian that is there should not get those things free?
I mean, listening to the press conference of the military today, they're saying, moves have been made to import more food into the country. Grains from the National Reserve has been also put out there to try and ameliorate the problem, but that, import will take time for some of these things to come, so be patient. And one part of you wants to say, how patient can you get on a stomach that is rumbling already and very hungry at this point in time? But the thing is, they acknowledge the fact themselves that there's hunger in the land. Now is to how to correct that problem itself, the short-term solution to it, and perhaps long-term. That's, I think, there's a lot of gap there.
Yes, I agree with you that there are a lot of gaps. But you see, there is an unseen force that makes things to go very difficult for Nigeria. There are these middlemen that are there. Government may go and buy rice from China, and let's hope the contractors that will go there, they will not go and buy rice that is 10 years old.
That is
because
plastic.
It's according to grading. If you go to China, go to all these rice producing this thing, there is one they've kept for 10 years, there's one they kept for 5 years, the other is almost expiring. We hope that government, these people that will go and import it, because it is not government, they will send people as contractors to go and buy it and bring it. And when they go and they buy expired rice, God will punish them. That is the only prayer of the poor man. Now, let me also tell you this. When you look at it generally, people are angry because they cannot have access to corn because of the high cost. They cannot get yams. I went to buy yam that other day, one small 4 tubers of yam. Like for a family of 4 or 5, they can only just take 2. They were telling me 25,000. This was not in a mall where a shop right. They'll just do something. No, this in a bush market. They tell you it's 25,000. Whether you buy it, you don't buy it. Well, do you know how much is beans now? There are some houses you go, if you see the quality of food they eat, you will weep. Is this Nigeria? No, we're supposed to be living a better life. Do you understand? Let me once again, let me say, yes, some other places, I think, I've gone to some part of my state where I come from, I've seen people farm, at least. You drive around, you see everybody is taken to farm. So this pressure by bandits has been reduced. The truth of the matter, all what Nigerians want is make Nigerians safe for everyone. If you make my village safe, I don't need to be in Abuja. I can be talking to you from my village. Not everybody wants to take oil money. Let those in leadership, let them make Nigeria safe. They should continue to steal and steal. And after they steal, they should live for another 1,000 years. and enjoy their money. You see, I get a little bit frustrated when I see leaders that have the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of their fellow citizens. All what is in their mind is how to compromise. The hospitals without drugs, nobody's doing anything. We seem to just hold our hand and say, well, may God help Nigeria. God will not help Nigeria. It's Nigerians that will help themselves. All those people screaming, whether that flag is for Russia or is for the military. No Russian president can save you. No military can save you. It is you, the people, the citizen, that will rise up and say, no, enough of this. We have no cause to be suffering in this country. We need to say that.
Well, the thing is, Nigeria is blessed with what is required.
See,
population, resources, and all.
We are blessed more than we can think. Nigeria is a blessed country. Very, very blessed. And that is why I don't talk negative about Nigeria as a nation. But what we try to do is to call attention of leadership to say, hey, you have mismanaged this country for too long. Why not do something? We are not saying stop stealing. Just reduce the stealing small now. And that is what to tell you. There are some leaders. The way we are lamenting outside of the corridor of power, they too are also lamenting. But they cannot scream because why? You have to obey the rules of feeding. When you are feeding,
table manners.
The table manners. You have to observe the table manners. But I tell you, there are people there that are not happy. Now, Tinubu has given an additional about 6-point-something trillion. Nothing will happen. The money will just come. They say they have spent it. But does it have an impact on the lives of Nigerians? That's the question. In Jonathan, that we were always we were only complaining. Somebody reminded me of something. They said, Jonathan said, "You will always remember me.
You miss me when
you will miss me when I go." And Buhari said the same thing. And it's turning out to be a prophecy. It's true.
It's not a prophecy, anything. It's just that things are getting progressively worse. That's the impression. Tinubu might leave, and if we are not careful, somebody else comes and it gets worse.
Don't say progress. It's worse. We all know it. We feel it. You wake up in the morning, the text you will have from all the people around you. They've heard your fine voice. Now they say, that one is enjoying. Kimberly, can you please send me some money? And you say, I write an article, somebody gets my number. Say, this is what I'm suffering. My family is this, my family is that. How many will you?
I mean, it honestly tells you the state of things.
It tells you the state of things. People that you thought were up there, when they start asking you for money, you get frightened. Why do you get frightened? Hey, this thing will come near me very, very soon. And when your daughter, when your children that you love, you try to give them the best. They say, Daddy, can we not eat this? Hey. I was telling my wife this morning, I said, hey, honey, I have forgotten when last you asked me, what do you want to eat?
It's whatever you see.
It's whatever you see now. So, see, that is the challenges we are passing through. And it is nothing but government policies. Government policies have made us poor. And the wickedness of leadership, of Nigerian leadership, is what is taking us down the drain. And if nothing is done, I'm telling you, something will happen. But I pray that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do the needful. Why am I praying and hoping? It's because he's a listening president, where he listens. The issue of fuel subsidy, we should also go back. The National Bureau of Statistics has said what is driving inflation in this country is cost of transportation. The money that they were using to subsidize fuel, they've now packed it. They have now removed it and are distributing it to the various tiers of government. Now the question we ask, what are those government doing?
The guest yesterday was talking about the need for that level of accountability for us to know what the states are doing.
Now I read one snippet whether it's true or not true. They said the local government chairman have made it. They said they don't even want the financial autonomy. Like keep it, send our money to the state governors. I've always told you this. I said this in one of my AIT program. I said it's difficult for you to remove the local government chairman from the grip
of the state governors.
It's because they are the one that will conduct elections. There are so many things they need to do. If you even ask me, local government, what are they doing? Scrap them. Review it and scrap them. I am telling you this. Just scrap them. They are of what
I
use?
mean, there's no guarantee. There's no
I'm
guarantee. You're
Marxist,
saying,
okay.
sir, that there's no guarantee that if they got their full autonomy and access to their money,
Yes.
that we're going to see any improvement at the local government level. Have you given up hope completely
Let
on
me
the
tell
structure
you,
that will drive?
This financial autonomy you've given to local government, if the governors, some of the governors don't intervene, EFCC will have to be opening their offices in every local government. And as the chairman of EFCC said, he said some of his guys are corrupt. It will be a negotiating platform now. There are people, as I speak with you now, their work is to negotiate.
How did we get so corrupt then? How did things get
Because
so
we
bad?
love corruption. Nigerians love corruption. Let nobody tell you that they don't love you, though. What you are doing in the media, all this screaming you are screaming in the media, because you don't have access to money. When you have access to what they do, is obscene wealth. When people see government as a way of acquiring obscene, the wealth is obscene. You ask, you don't need it. You have 5 billion naira. What will you do with the money? What do you need it for? But you see, and that is why the former EFCC chairman said those contesting election, they should go and check them. Let them undergo a psychiatric test.
Which of the former EFCC? Because all of them have been merged in controversy.
Waziri said that. Farida Waziri. She said, so much corruption. So see, if you are able to control corruption by 20-30%, things will work.
All right, let's take a quick break and hear feedback from our listener, what they make of our conversation and the stories that we were looking at. Call us up on 0700 951 0000 or call 0809 5974869, or you can just call via WhatsApp on 0809 9930137. The conversation is live on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja with Mr. Simon Reef, a journalist and analyst, helping us wade through the big stories. Tevin Amali says from Gariki that President Tinubu should resolve NNPC, dissolve it to the board and put new people there, and you see how things would change. Ozan Namani says, watching us from Mama Gunze in Enugu State. Good afternoon, Kimberly, and our guest in the studio. Nigerians to fill a form in order to buy a bag of rice of 40,000 is a mockery of a country as giant of Africa. Nigeria is richly and naturally endowed, and we must revert to agriculture as our mainstay. God help us all. Isa Adam says, wow, Dr. Kim, I'm happy to see you. Our rulers are behaving like, okay, I will leave that word you used out. Steal and disappear from Nigeria is what some of them do. Governors are just doing their things, adding zero value. We don't practice democracy in reality, but lip service. We are richly blessed, only deeply depending on oil. We need to collect the power from those who are mismanaging the country. The Mamba Project on YouTube says policies are like chains to keep the people down. We need better policies, growth, and progress. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How's work?
Going pretty well. What's your name, sir?
My name is Mohammed.
Go ahead, Mohammed.
Yeah, I have a contribution, and my contribution lies most of the Nigerian problem that we are having today. The leaders are just putting like a blind eyes and a blind ear to the problems. Most of I actually appreciate your guest, and the natural resources apart from the oil that Nigerians have. It's not like our leaders are not making use of it. If the medians are to do the proper work for Nigerians and for Nigerians, if you go to the whole state of Nigerians today that have natural resources that are supposed to be contributing to the Nigerians, all those things are being adjusted by the governors. There is no state you go to that you will not see a China that is there making the state. And then the state governors will choose somebody from a community where that are supposed to be a benefit to them. Now it's government that are coming in. So they are making the community people to be real, and few people that can come out to say why would this be that. Those ones will be called to the room and get settled. Then the little they can give them now will be what they will take to the community. Killing ourselves
All right, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your input. And good afternoon, Nigeria Info. Please, who is the guest speaking? The man is saying my mind. God bless him. He's Mr. Simon Reef. He's saying the fact. My question is, what is the solution and how Mr. President would hear all that he's saying? Kazim Kaka in Dede, Abuja, sent that one in. Hi, Kim. Hope your day is going good. You're doing a great job and a source of joy for me. On the issue, thank you very much. On the issue of the protest, I just read the lawmaker's house in Jigawa has been burnt down. While I do not subscribe to this violence, I want the politicians to know the divide and rule tactic has begun to yield fruit. Please let all be safe. James from Nasarawa. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Kim.
Yes, you're welcome. It's afternoon here in Nigeria.
Good afternoon. So sorry, good afternoon.
Go ahead.
My name is Ko. Thank you. Your guest is very apt. In fact, I love the way he said they don't ask him what he wants to eat again or eat anything.
That was funny to me. Things don't change.
Things don't change, and the man understand. Everybody go adjust. So now, you see, this adjustment where everybody they do so. Our elite never adjust. That is paining Nigerians. And I feel that it is so hard-hearted of the president not to give any concession whatsoever. And what I would have thought is that they will even say something immediate cut from their government. And honestly, Nigerians would have relaxed a bit. However, you asked a question, Kim. And your question was, how did we get to this place of pervasive corruption? Kim, I always say on this station that the Nigerian people are not free from this problem. We started this problem when we endorsed corruption, even as a people. When corruption was going on and the people were benefiting from the corruption, they don't talk. Even as we are talking now and condemning corruption, Nigerians are comfortable if the corruption is going to pay them. If it is going to favor them, it is grace, it is favor, it is blessing of God. Do you know how other nations operate in terms of integrity and in terms of objectivity in making financial decisions or in managing public funds and procurements and all these things? Nigeria is not yet serious. And this is why, if you listen closely to people like Ali Ndume and other senators now, they have started to blame their corruption on Nigerians as this is what Nigerians are asking of them. So they cannot even, that thing called constituency project is not what legislators are called to do anywhere. However, they have instituted it and it is now a system. Why? Because they have to go and rub hand of the masses for the masses to accept them. So this is what brought us to this pervasive corruption, because Nigerians are applauding people. See, if you don't have anybody applauding you, no matter how much you have, you will still feel empty. But because we have Nigerians who keep applauding people, so it keeps fueling their greed. And this is why I'm calling on Nigerians. Look,
all right.
I was once offered a federal government position where they said I should change my state of origin because my own state is full. I needed a job. That was in 2017. I had to turn down that offer, as juicy as it was. How many Nigerians will do that? I've resigned from a position where I knew they were perpetrating corruption. I resigned without an alternative job. How many Nigerians will do that?
All right, Kobe.
After 2 months, I left the office and left 1 month's salary for. I see people are thieves. How many Nigerians will do that?
All right.
Kim, thank you. Welcome back. Somi did a good job. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you also. Felix from Kaduna State, Abuja says, your guest is speaking well. The one that knocked me off my feet was when he said his wife doesn't ask him what he wants to eat anymore. This one, Ringo. If we still had the words in marble, I'm sure they would be playing this one over. Oh, dear. Let's hear this caller quickly. Hello.
Good afternoon, Kimber.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I miss your guest.
He's listening.
My name is KK.
Go ahead, KK.
Okay. I want to say people always ask us to hold the state governors accountable.
Oh dear, KK. Sorry about that. Corruption in Nigeria is cancerous. I learned of a former governor who is serving minister in one of the most sensitive ministries in this administration who is alleged to have been entitled to a certain percentage on every Abacha loot recovered based on agreement he had with whistleblower in Nigeria and the Swiss government. And you think such a person would agree to implement policies to fight corruption? Mike Inkagini, with your full chest, who is the person? All right, let's hear this caller. Hello.
Wanda Kim,
You're welcome.
welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Number one, I did not see Auntie Oyoyo. You didn't buy anything. Anyway, I won't blame you. The economy will not allow you to do that again. And to my brother in the studio, you are not alone. My own, once I reach home, I see the plate. When I open anything what I see inside, I chop and close my go. No need to play. Key, man. You see, just like the other caller, the reason why I said I'm not part of this protest, I will continue to say it, let them call me names, is that until we wash our hands off tribal and ethnic bigotry, Kim, I'm not going to participate in anything called protest. Those who are shouting now that let Tinubu go under 1 year, had it been it was Atiku or Obi or Kwankwaso that won, would they also be shouting? I need somebody to answer this question. The last protest that we did, the EndSARS, an opportunity for us to change Nigeria. How come some of us did not join? We brought ethnic and religious this thing into it. We are not ready. What is happening in Bangladesh today may not happen in Nigeria because there is unity. Everybody say we are tired of this mess. We want to change. But in Nigeria, you saw them interviewing a guy and another person came to slap him. He's supporting the protest, but somebody has slapped him just on national TV. I believe you saw the video.
Yes, I did.
That's why I gave an Igbo adage. An Igbo adage that says, the person with me and they pursue spirit, don't they smell like spirit? You step out for the protest. The same people, because not everybody who is telling you,
we need to go for the news.
Protest truly wants.
All right, thank you very much.
Right,
we need to go for the news. Let's join Joy for the news.
In the comfort of your home, on your way to work, in the midst of your daily activities. Your Let's Talk station is here to keep you informed. Only on your number one for talk, 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's Talk.
Let's talk. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.